Hi, folks. Well, let's do the bear for a sec, just to get ourselves in the Taiji mode. And we'll be continuing with the dive into the separates. But let's just get the body awake and moving, breathing, relaxing, feeling the ground, feeling suspended, lots of space inside, letting the arms go, all that good stuff that the bear gives us. Great. And then let's get started at single whip, squatting down, and we'll go through the two separates. We'll do it 3 times. We'll just flow just to arrive at that section of the form. So, you know, all the things to check in your shape, getting your feet in a good position, bending the front hip joint, sitting in the center of your stance, releasing your lower back, softening the chest, getting the arms in position with as little effort as possible. And begin. Just flowing through it. And again. Begin. Great. So we did the two golden pheasants in the last session, sat with the chair, figured out how to get our legs up without efforting them up. Well, that same quality of getting the leg up without lifting from in front, from above, is going to be the same thing that we're going to use through all these separates and kicks. So if you haven't watched that one, check it out. That might help you get the right feeling in your legs. But let's start where we just were, go through the two standing on one legs, and then we'll look at the transition out of there. So get yourself in a good shape. Get your arms comfortable. And hold it here 1 sec. And begin. Elongate, spiral. Come across. Gathering into the ground, coming up. And the next one. Great. From here, you're going to open slightly to the left. As you do that, the left side is coming down and the right fingertips are moving toward your left elbow. The left foot comes down on the ball, foot in an angle, a little behind you. As you shift the weight, you turn the waist and end up in the corner at what we call unnamed posture number 1. So rest your legs. Let me do it facing. As the left side relaxes down, there's a slight turning of the waist, and the right fingers are moving toward the left elbow. At the same time, the left foot goes down. So you want to get this, it's like you've just had this expression out the knee and fingers, and so you let everything come back down a little bit. There's a little bit of a turn, and you end up in a situation like this. Be careful to put the foot down without shifting the weight, because you want to shift and turn to drive your hands into the unnamed posture. So the deal with the unnamed postures is, if you go through Professor's book, there isn't a name for this posture. But everybody always would have us hold this posture. They'd correct us in this posture. So we call it unnamed posture. There's 2 of them. So anyway, back to this. Letting this whole side release gives this side a little buoyancy. So as this goes down, the left, the right side is coming up, you're turning, and you're aiming so that when you shift and turn, this little magical moment happens in your arms. You end up in a position like lifting hands, say, where the left hand is relating to the right elbow, and you're aligned toward a corner. So the important mechanism here, this is what Baton, our teacher, used to call reaching for the soup. So the reaching for the soup is, I've got these big, long butterfly sleeves, nice Chinese outfit, and I'm going to reach for the soup over there, and this hand comes and pulls the long butterfly sleeve out of the way so I can reach for the soup. So there's this really nice quality that happens. It's a lovely little moment that as you get the turn going, you don't have to do the arms. You just know that the right hand is going to come out over the forearm of the left, and as you keep turning, voila, the left comes in by the right elbow. So it's a really nice little example of hands don't move, hands never stop moving, all movement is directed by the waist. It just goes there. You don't have to do anything. The only thing you have to do is aim. So from here, you want to let everything down and a little bit to the corner. Let the right side come up as the left side is coming down. And then just aim. Aim your fingertips so that they're going to go over your left forearm, and shift and turn. And as you do that, they just come into place. So I always love that little moment there, so don't neglect it and be in a hurry to get somewhere else. So now we'll do it again and we'll carry on. So letting the left side down, the right hand comes up, shift and turn. Now you're in the corner. You're facing the way that Lee is. I'm just facing you so you see the hands. Hands drop. They kind of take the body with you. There's a moment that you could stop. We don't stop, but right now I'm stopping you because I want to make sure that this moment lines up. It's kind of one of the landmarks along the way. So from the unnamed posture, hands drop and the whole body is taken to the left corner. At this point, your feet may well be parallel. Make sure that the weight has not shifted. You're still in your left leg. Here you're 100%, you stay 100%. Hands drop, waist turns. This moment here is just a blip along the way, but if you don't have it, you might get a little bit lost going through all of this. So from the corner, the feet are done turning, but you're going to keep turning. You go past the corner and then come back to the corner. And as you do that, the empty right foot comes up onto the ball. So from the unnamed posture, hands drop, waist turns, right foot pivots on heel. Keep turning, go past the corner, come back to the corner. That crosses the hands and it frees the right heel. It's come up on the ball now. Let's do that much again. Drop the hands, turn the waist, right foot pivots on heel, you go to the corner, you keep turning past the corner and come back to the corner. So look at how the foot moves. This is not something that happens down here at the foot. And it's really easy, I see this all the time, for people to turn and turn back and not have that foot come along. So make sure the foot's really empty. And as you turn, it just comes with you pivoting on the heel. It's very easy. It's not something you do down at your foot. Just let the foot be empty, the whole leg be empty. You turn, the foot turns. And it pivots on the heel, just kind of naturally. There's nowhere you're really going with it, although chances are you'll end up more or less parallel to the corner. But what it's doing is just following the turning of the hips. And now leave it out there once, because I see this happen so often. Leave it out there and turn, and feel what that feels like. So let it come with you. It's just moving in the service of the turning of the waist. Okay, and rest your legs a sec. So the other thing that's happening here is what the arms are doing. And the arms are also following the waist. So my torso keeps turning past the corner. I want my leg stable. I'm not going to let the leg move around, but I turn on top of it past the corner. And as I do that, these arms are still dropping. And this one is starting to come up. As I go past the corner, that helps it come up. And they've got two different places, ways that they're moving. The front arm is just going to take this nice, gentle, easy path that comes up the center line. So if you just take the right arm and you turn, corner, past the corner, back to the corner, and the arm just comes in place. It's pretty much in front of the center of your chest. Drops, swings up, and it's still coming into place as you're turning back. So let it have action the whole way through. Corner, past the corner, back to the corner. And now it's kind of there for the other hand to just drop on top of. So the other hand, if you just look at one, is going to go all the way out. It swings up and out. And as you're turning back, you're bringing it back so that it lands in the center of the body. So when you put the two of them together, you have something that ends up with both hands crossed right in front of your center line. So a little detail about the way that the hands cross. So you want to give me the two fingers so that they see where the dimension is? Let's step up to the camera. So the final cross place of the hands has a 2-finger width space from the wrist to the crossing wrist, and you've got this part is also 2 fingers. So you got 2 fingers in 2 dimensions. You got 2 fingers apart and 2 fingers off in the other dimension too. So I hope that helps. But that will keep you from getting too close, the 2 hands, because if they come too close, there isn't really room for them. You want this nice space that they can be in that has a little bit of room in all the dimensions. And part of what that gives you is the ability to take it apart easily. If I'm too close on myself, I can get a little caught on myself. But if I've got this nice 2-finger spacing, then there's room for the hands to come apart easily. So there's a little detail. They call this the sun of the form, the inches of the form, that you use your own body to measure. Often you're measuring with fingers or fists or hand spans. So this one's a 2-finger width relationship here. And oh yeah, right. Lee's pointing out that the dantian is also a 2-finger measurement because it's 2 fingers below your navel. So, how the hands come into play. So you got your space here. Now at this moment, the elbows drop, the hands roll, the fingers point up, and they come apart this way. So it's very specific. And one way that you can think about it, why don't you punch at me, and I'm going to let my hands come apart so that I can catch him. And if I take my hands apart this way and he's punching at me, doesn't do me any good. So just getting my hands in the final place doesn't do it. I need to get them there that way so that it has some functionality. So you may be so caught up in, oh, I got to stand on one leg, that you don't think about how your hands come apart. And you get here and then you're just like, oh, I got to get my leg up, and then you put your hands out. But you really want this feeling of the hands coming apart in this shape. We were first taught it, they had us let the hands roll so that the palms face out. That also, you might also say it as let the elbows drop and let the hands roll, so that they come apart, fingertips up, palms out. Jane would say this is like doing the can-can. Da, 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 da. So you got to have this sort of a fanning quality when the hands come apart. Let's do the whole piece. Let's take it from, let's do the whole piece, starting with single wet. Why not? Okay, begin. Spiraling. Into the left leg and up, knee and fingers. Right side comes down, left side wakes up. And other side. Opening to the left as you let the left side down, the right hand comes up. You stepped, but you have not shifted the weight yet. Shift and turn. Unnamed posture number 1. Hands drop, waist turns, right foot pivots on heel, corner, past the corner, back to the corner, hands crossed in your 2x2 finger shape. And let the elbows drop, the hands turn out, fingertips are up, and separate right foot. Great. So a couple details about the final posture, and then I'll turn it over to Lee, and he'll get into more gory detail about those final postures. So we've come to here, and you want to have, this is not a 1-2 kick. That's in a couple moves, the 1-2 kick. So the leg comes up, not that the knee comes up and then the foot comes out, but there's a quality of this action here. So as you tap the ground and then send this out, your aspiration is that this thigh be parallel to the ground, but the foreleg, the leg, is not at the same angle. So this should be parallel, and then this is like at 45 degrees with the sole of the foot parallel to the ground. So I'm not doing this with it, where it's all just coming up and my foot is at an angle. Let it have this playing out to the toes, not that you're it's not a toe thing, but it plays out down to the foot, and make sure that the foot ends up, the sole of the foot parallel to the ground, not, you're not reaching with the toes, I guess is what yeah. So let's do that move some more. Let's just take it from unnamed posture. So all your weight's on your left leg. Go. Weight still on the left leg, still on the left leg, still on the left leg, and Leg comes up and out. And rest your leg. Lee kept it together, I fell over. If you... So this action of letting the hip joint, it's not just an empty hip joint, you actually let there be some inward movement. That feeling, so just stand here and put your foot flat on the ground, turn toward your other foot, and as you turn toward the empty leg, feel that actually kind of, if you put your fingers here, it'll swallow them. That inward action is what frees your heel. So notice how if you do that, it will take the heel off the ground, not because you're picking the heel off the ground, but because this is happening, and it frees the heel, and then the action can come up and out. This is all oblique angles, so you're aiming sort of oblique to yourself. I'm not making a big open turn, but it's not just a, kick a little bit to the corner. It actually frees and then comes up to the corner. So it has a little more openness than it would if you were just like, kicking a soccer ball or something. And so then the final placement where the hands end up, the left hand will be slightly higher because it's balancing the right leg a little bit higher. Be careful not to droop too much, or at all, really. The fingers want to point up. Maggie would talk to us about being like spokes on a wheel, so that everything has this quality of opening out rather than a droop that could happen at the end. So all these pieces are being pulled out like your center has spokes going everywhere. Let's do that whole piece another couple times, and then we'll move on. Okay, and go. To the corner, past the corner, back to the corner. Elbow sink, palms out. Separate right foot. And let's do it another time. And go. Hands come apart easily. Hip joint turns in and out to the toes. Arms, head, leg, everything acting like spokes on a wheel. Great. Rest your legs. Oh, I'll let Lee take over and do some more of this stuff.
Well, let us continue. And let's do the next one. Let's do unnamed posture number 2 and separate left foot. So, starting from squatting down. Go ahead. Golden pheasant stands on left leg. And right leg, waist open slightly to the right, turns back to the front, frees the foot. Unnamed posture number 1. Drop the hands, open slightly to the left, right fingers by left elbow. Shift and turn. There you are. On to separate right foot. Drop the hands to the corner, past the corner, back to the corner. Hands have crossed. Sink, elbows drop, palms turn out. Waist opens and kick. Let everything come back in. It all comes in towards your center. Step for 70-30 to the corner. Shift and turn. Unnamed posture number 2. On to separate left foot. Drop the hands to the corner, past the corner, back to the corner. Sink, elbows drop, palms turn out, and kick with the left foot. Great. Take a break. So, the unnamed posture number 1 and unnamed posture number 2 are just the same, except that they're different. But it's the same mechanics. As you figure one of them out, you'll figure the other one out. It's got this same hands dropping to the corner, past the corner, back to cross hands. Hands dropping to the corner, past the corner, back to cross hands. So I'll talk details on those, but it's really just the same. And then the 2 kicks are just the same, except one leg and the other leg. And what you're likely to notice is that you're more stable on one leg than the other leg. And that's just okay. I'm more stable on one of my legs than the other leg. So keep working it. But it's always a good thing to work where it works and then let that teach the other side. So, if you're more stable, the way I am, on the right leg than the left, then I really try to get all of these mechanics. What am I doing to make this work? And then I try to create those same mechanics on my other leg and see, what are the issues, what are the problems that make me less stable there. But rather than auguring in on, here's the problem, my ankle is weak, my knee isn't stable, my, muscles aren't as strong, rather than focusing on the problem, what I try to do is focus on, okay, how does it work ideally? I'm hitting the ground, I'm coming back, I sink, I tap the ground, I allow the leg to straighten as the other leg comes up. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side as I'm trying to get it to be better. I'm going to sink, I'm going to hit bottom, I'm going to come up, I'm going to sink again, tap the ground, and I'm going to allow the leg to straighten slightly as I come up. Working that way, I find, is a lot more productive than trying to isolate the problems and check the problems off the list. What I want to see is, there's problems. The ankle's not as stable. I don't have as good contact with the ground there. But what I want to look at is what the contact is. Look back at our series a couple weeks ago about its rooting is in the feet, its releasing is in the legs, its directing is in the waist, its expressing is in the hands. And you will talk about what you should be doing. And so the problem isn't weak ankle or swimming knees. The problem is that I'm not actually rooted in the foot. I haven't gotten all the root correct. I'm not actually releasing in the legs. Nothing is happening in the legs. And then there's nothing for the waist to direct. And so if I work on how to actually do it right, then I become more stable. And voila, look at that. The ankle gets stronger. The knee doesn't slop around. All that stuff happens. And so if you find that one side works a lot better than the other side, work them both. It's not like you pretend one of them doesn't work, but work them both and pay attention to the side that works and see, what does working mean? Working doesn't just mean that I'm here rigid and I can get my foot off the ground. Working means that as I do that, the whole body is involved, everything is happening. And actually look at how your foot feels, look at how your leg is doing, look at what's going on as you do that. And then try to create those positive things on the other, more challenging side. So, I really need to feel that foot on the ground. And that will, voila, help stabilize the ankle. And as it does that, the ankle will strengthen, it'll be better. And, look, as it's coming through the leg I'm standing on needs to change. And that will, voila, keep the knee from swimming around. And because the leg is changing, you're actually doing something with it, so the leg will get stronger. So, by doing this, looking at the one side where it works, taking what it is to work from that side and applying it to the side that doesn't work as well, you will get that side to work better. So that's something I work on in these because I think the kicks are really quite challenging. So let's do it again. We'll take it from unnamed posture number 1 and then go through unnamed posture 2 onto the second separate. So here you are. Hands drop, waist turns, front foot pivots on heel, go to the corner and stop in the corner. At this point here, your feet should be parallel. They're both facing the same way. If you stepped in the right place with your left foot, then the feet will be toes in a line, shoulder wide apart. So that's nice if you can get that. The two hands have a ball of air. You're holding the ball of air across your thigh. So my left hand is on the outside of my left thigh. My right hand is on the inside of my left thigh. So I'm not over on one side. Both hands haven't crossed. I've actually gotten here to the corner. So do just that much again. Back to unnamed posture number 1. Drop the hands, turn the waist, pivot on the heels, stop in the corner. Check your feet. Are they parallel? Check your hands. Do you have the ball of air? Check your waist. Are you really towards the corner? Now leave the right foot behind. It does not turn further. Turn more past the corner and come back to the corner. As you come back to the corner, release the right foot. Let the heel float so that when the hands cross, your heel is up. This is what Beth talked about. Sink, elbows drop, palms turn out. You open towards the right corner and then kick, extending to the right corner. Let everything come in. The elbows come in, the foot comes in. So everything comes in small here. Step to the corner. As you shift, let your waist open to the left with a little bit of turn back to the right at the end. This is a weird posture. Unnamed posture number 2. I'll come back to it. Okay, drop the hands. Stop in the corner. When you stop in the corner, all your weight is shifted into the front. My rear leg is empty. I've let the heel come off the ground, so this is the moral equivalent of pivoting on the heel in the first one. And I've got the ball of air. The ball of air is across my right thigh. My right hand is outside my right thigh. My left hand is inside my right thigh. Turn further past the corner. As you come back to the corner, the hands cross, and the left foot replaces itself on the ball. It's getting set to kick to the left. Sink, elbows drop, palms turn out. Foot is totally free. Expand to the corner, kicking. Okay, great. So Beth talked about this in the first one. I'm going to underscore it and then talk about it in the second one. I start out in unnamed posture number 1, and my hands drop, my foot pivots. I get to the corner. I go past the corner. I come back to the corner. So she talked about this, that common mistakes are people leave that foot behind. And we did that and felt how that restricts you. Or else it just keeps coming with you, and then I end up all caught. So go ahead and let it just come to the corner. And now you turn, and as you come back, this is the starting of the freeing of that leg. So this is where you're turning into the leg. You're letting it really become free. You kick. Everything comes in. Step to the corner. This is extended out. And so look at this weird posture. Unnamed posture number 2. My waist is not exactly square to my front foot. If it were exactly square to my front foot, I'd be looking over my side. I'd be like a two-dimensional paper cut out of a person. I want to be rounded and comfortable in here. My hands are related to each other like lift hands or play guitar. And as it turns out, there's just exactly enough room in there for somebody else's arm. So look, if we walk over towards the camera, you'll see that I've got one hand on Beth's wrist, and I've got the other hand on her elbow. And what that does is that lets me control her whole arm. If I missed and I was just on her forearm, then it's not the same thing at all. So I have one hand on her wrist, one hand on her elbow. And by and large, people's forearms are roughly the same length. So what that means is if when I get to the posture here, my hand faces my elbow, then when Beth puts her elbow in my hand, her hand will be in my other one. So, basically because our forearms are the same length, that alignment will work. So really get that as you come back in and do this. See here, I'm not in that. And if Beth puts her arm in there, well, yeah. So what I want to be is I want to be right here so that I've got that. So then I go. A teacher at Baton would say that martial arts is 99% bullshit. And he was right about that. So we're not trying to, over video on YouTube, teach you to be the next Bruce Lee. We're not trying to do that in person either. But the applications will give you a crispness and a rationale for the moves that improves the way you actually do the move. And the other thing we're told Professor Chung said is that you don't get the benefit without the function. So the health benefits, the quieting of the mind, the precision and the knowledge of where you are only come with the function. And the function means that I need to be able to actually redirect force. I need to be able to actually do something with my body. So there's all kinds of things I can do here that are wrong. I can come back here and I can leave myself wide open, right? So when Beth punches at me here, I'm going to be, nothing's happening. I can become totally flat. See how here my hands are just right up my side. And so then even if I catch her when I do this, I don't have anything in there. She can easily resist this and keep me from doing anything. So when I get the function right, I catch her and everything's here. My hands are with my waist, and so it's actually trivial to turn my waist and move her. And this is like no effort at all. I'm not manhandling her. I'm not forcing it. If you get the shape right, then the other person will just go. And so I know COVID, all that stuff, we can't do this in person. If we were in person, I'd have you feel it on me and feel what you can do to my arm when the alignments are right. But you can still feel that. You can feel the way that as you get this to happen, there's a place where, snap, everything comes into focus. And you'll be able to feel it as you go in and out of that. Then, from here, the same thing happens. I drop, and when I get to the corner, all my weight's in the front, I've freed the rear foot, I've got the ball of air, 2 hands are right here, one on either side of my front thigh, and I'm right square to the corner. Now I do just exactly the same thing. I go past the corner, and my bottom hand comes up right along my center line. So it's not reaching across me and coming back. It's here. I turn past the corner, and as I come back to the corner, it comes right up along my center line. The other hand, as I go past the corner, swings and then comes back, and it's going to land on top of my other hand. They meet. They meet here. And my rear foot is going to free itself, replace itself, so that it's ready to kick. So let's do it again. And then I'll talk about a couple other things that will help juice this move for you. So yeah, from single whip. Okay, go ahead, turn the waist. Shift the weight and turn the waist, 70-30. Elongate. Spiral through the body. Sit down to put the front foot on the ground. That's the bottom. Now follow your left fingers up to the corner. Last minute, release the right side, facing the corner. Gather, coming back towards the front. That frees your right foot. And now from the bottom of the left foot to the right fingers and the right knee. Right side comes down, left fingers wake up. Waist opens very slightly to the right. Shift the weight and turn back to the front. That frees the left foot. And now from the bottom of your right foot to your left knee and your left fingers, golden pheasant on the other side. Drop the left side. That'll open you slightly to the left. As you do that, the right fingers wake up and they come by the left elbow just as the foot touches down. Shift and turn, reaching for the soup. Unnamed posture number 1. Drop the hands, pivot on the heel. Ball of air in the corner, keep going. Right hand comes up along your center line, left hand meets it, cross hands. 2 fingers space between the wrist and the thumbs on each side. Sink, elbows drop, palms turn out, opening towards the corner, and kick. Bring everything back in, elbows come in towards your center, foot comes in. Step to the corner, and now extend to the left corner, turning slightly to the right. Feel if it's snapped in focus. Are you two-dimensional? Where are you? Get it to the place. You'll know. You'll feel where it is. Okay, now drop the hands. Corner, ball of air. Keep going. Left hand comes up your center line. Right hand lands on top of it. Left foot has landed. Sink, elbows drop, palms turn out. And kick. Great. Take a break. Okay, so I want to look at a couple other things in this, and then I think that'll probably be enough. And for all of this, we're giving you a lot of detail. We're giving you little picky form detail, like the way this crosses so that there's space between the wrist and where the other hand crosses, so that there's space there. And, you know, you could say, of all of the things in the world, that's not the most important. But if you can get that precision in there, then it improves the function, and having the function improved helps you get the benefits. So go ahead and memorize these little details. You'll just have to do that. The foot turns, and the feet should be parallel, toes in a line, shoulder wide, and then that's where the foot stops turning, and as it comes back, it comes up onto the ball, freeing the heel. So go ahead and memorize all those picky little details, and try to get them, and then try to figure out what it feels like on the inside. So we're giving you all that. We're also going to give you some more of the doorways into making this internal. And so that's going to be more clear about how the motions happen, what the various pieces of them are, and what it feels like on the inside. And so the first one I want to do, we spent a lot of time on this in these last couple of weeks, is the 1-2 nature of the kick. Now, Beth said it's not a 1-2. So it's not a 1-2 like this. 1-2. That's that one. But it's not like that here. It's not that the thigh comes up and then the foot kicks out. Jane used to say, it's as if your foot's on a rug and somebody pulls the rug out so the whole leg comes up. The whole leg comes up and goes out. And there's no lift at all. That's whether or not the bottom of the foot is parallel to the ground. So it's not a 1-2 in the kick. It's not 1-2. It is a 1-2 in the action. And 1 is freeing the leg, and then 2 is the kicking. And the freeing of the leg should get the leg off the ground. That's the hard part. So when we're always telling you, don't worry about how far up, how high you get the foot going. If you do it and it's like this, that is great. That's way better than doing some desperation thing to get through there. So don't worry about how far up you pick the foot. As Beth said, the goal is that the thigh is parallel to the ground, the lower leg is at 45 degrees, and the base of the sole is parallel to the ground. And you know that this shape will feel different from other shapes, so you can pay attention to that. But don't worry about that. The critical piece is getting it off the ground and then sending something out. So the 1-2 is free the leg, then extend to your toes, or to your knee, or to your heel. any of those. You're aiming at a different place through this. The first two aim at the knee. The second two you aim out to the toes. The third one you aim with the heel. You're going to aim to a different place. But in all of them, it has that same mechanic of free and then direct. And that direct part, that's where it doesn't matter how far you get your foot off the ground. You have to get it off the ground because you have to actually separate. But once you've got it off the ground, just expand a little bit. So for all of these, when I come through and I've done unnamed posture number 1, my corner, I come back, I'm in cross hands. I sink, the elbows drop, the foot frees. So that's the key piece right there. That's the one that matters. And then the 2 is from that freed, send your awareness out. And it doesn't matter how far your foot goes. It doesn't matter if your foot goes 1 inch or if you get it all the way to thigh parallel to the ground. That's just a matter of practice and stability and all those things. The key part is the freeing of the foot and then some extension. So let's do it again, and I want you to, and then we'll do that. I want you to pay attention to those bits. So from unnamed posture number 1, drop the hands, pivot on the heel, to the corner, past the corner, back to the corner. Okay, now sink, let the elbows drop, let the palms turn out, and really free that right foot. You should be able to have it off the ground now. And now just extend to right toes and your fingers. Bring everything in. Step to the corner. Unnamed posture number 2. Drop the hands to the corner, more past the corner, back to the corner. Okay, now sink, drop the elbows, turn the palms out, turn towards the foot, and free the leg. Now, just extend. I don't care how far you go. You can go all the way, or just getting it a little bit. Great. Take a break. So Beth made this gesture when she was talking. This is something that Maggie taught us, and I find it really helps. You can make the shape with your arm that you want the leg to take. And so the shape is this. The elbow comes in towards you, which opens the forearm, and then it all extends out to the fingers. So do this with me. Stand on either leg. We'll start on standing on the left leg, I guess. And come back. You're facing towards the front. It's going to be your right elbow. Bring your right elbow into your hip. That brings the hip in. That drops the sit bone. That floats the knee, and it frees the foot. And now extend out to the fingers. And so do that again. Rotate the elbow into the hip. Extend out to the fingers. And see how my arm is doing this. It's coming in. That's just what my hip joint is doing. And then out to the fingers. Once more. Elbow comes in, so does the hip joint. Leg is free, out to the fingers. Do it on the other side. Stand on your right leg, facing the right leg. It's going to be the left elbow this time. The left elbow comes in towards the hip joint. That freed the foot, and then extend out to the fingers. Again. Left elbow comes in, so does the left hip joint. Now the foot is free, extend. Once more. Elbow comes in, so does the hip joint. Foot is free, extend. So this little arm shape is great because it'll let you see what's happening. It'll let you see this. It's obviously, but this isn't how we do the move, right? It's not, right? The hands are doing a similar thing, but you're having that, in, out. That's the 1-2, and in the 1, you just have to get the foot free. And then the 2, the whole leg comes out, rather than a 1-2. Yeah. So let's do that piece again, paying attention to that. So, unnamed posture number 1. Hands drop, pivot on the heel, to the corner, past the corner, back to the corner, cross hands. Okay, now as you sink, elbows drop, palms turn out. Feel that right hip joint coming in towards your center line, and the right foot is freed. And now extend. This is the opening of the hand. Bring everything in. Elbows come in, foot comes in. Step. As you shift, extend to the corner and turn slightly. Drop the hands, ball of air over the thigh, past the corner, back to the corner. And now you're going to do the gesture on the other side. So sink, elbows drop, palms turn out, left hip is coming in, foot is freed, extend out. So that's the... Great. So play with that. And I think just doing this one side, the other side will help you. The same thing's happening in the golden pheasants. So when I, come out of squatting down, I sink here, there's one where the elbow has come in, the hip joint has come in, the foot has freed. And then the two is aiming from the bottom of that foot to the knee and the toes. And then on the other side, I release, I turn towards it, there's that part of the gesture. Now the foot is freed, and now I aim into knee and fingers, and I come up there. So it's just the same, and actually it's just the same in any of the big steps. So I'm coming into a single whip, and I'm here, and I need to make this giant, god-awful step. Well, what do? The hip comes in, the sit bone drops, comes towards my center line, the foot is freed, and now rather than using my root in a way which kicks it, I use my root in a way which steps it. So you'll do something different in the root, you'll do something different in the legs you're standing on, you'll do something different in the waist in order to direct it. But that same mechanic is going on here where it comes in, and then I aim it. This time I'm aiming it over there. It comes in, and then I aim it. That time I'm aiming it for separate one foot, the other foot. So let's do that one more time, and then I'll do one more thing, and then I think we're probably at our hour-ish, and we'll call it a day. But we're not there yet. So, before we do this, we keep calling these unnamed posture number 1 and unnamed posture number 2. And if you look through like the yang long form, you will find some moves in the yang long form which look an awful lot like these two postures. Professor Chung did not name those. As Beth said, every single one of our teachers has made us stop in them and hold them and has treated them just like final postures. I think the problem was if we had counted those, our form wouldn't come to 37 postures anymore. It would come to 39 if instead you had a high pad on horse and had a white snake puts out tongue. We'd have a 39 posture form. And as everybody knows, that would be horrible. That would be an affront against all of the laws of nature. That would just really not be okay. So I think Professor Chung sneaked in a couple of the moves from the long form without privileging them with names. So maybe he had something against white snakes. So they're just not there. So, to call them out rather than saying that weird place we stand between golden pheasant on the right leg and separate right foot, we call it unnamed posture number 1. And rather than being that weird place that we stop between separate right foot and separate left foot, we call it unnamed posture number 2. So from the posture that cannot be, the first posture that cannot be named, okay, drop the hands to the corner, past the corner, back to the corner. Now think about the 1-2 that there is. Sinking, palms turn out, the foot is freed. That's the 1. 2, kicking out. Bring everything in. Step. Put out that tongue, old white snake. Unnamed posture number 2. Drop the hands to the corner, past the corner, back to the corner. Okay, here's the 1. Sink, elbows drop, palms turn out, foot is freed, hip joint has come in, sit bone is dropped, knee is buoyant. And then the 2, extend out. Great. Okay, then the last thing I want to do is the bellows. The going from big to small and back to big, or from small to big and back to small. So it's really easy to miss that in here. There's a lot of bellowing. And so when you don't have the bellows, then that's one of the things that'll make you skate. You'll just move along the surface without any rhyme or reason, without any motivation. So really work on getting the bellows here. Obviously, all the final postures are big, right? So do these with me, making them small. So stand on the right leg and let it be big. Come up from the right leg to the left fingers and the left knee. And do that again, standing on the right leg. Feel the bottom of the foot and come up. This is expansive. And once more, expansive. Bottom of the foot, come up, aiming into fingers and knees. Okay, now try to do the final posture like it's small. Come up here and just sink, 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 and have your other hand and foot come up. And notice the quality of going into the knee and elbow, knee and fingers. Again, you're here, and now just let this get small and try to have it all come up. Imagine actually kneeing something. And now do it the other way. You're here, feel the bottom of the foot, and let it expand. Notice the quality in the knees and the fingers. Different. Let's do it for the separates. So, from unnamed posture number 1, get yourself to cross hands. Okay, sink, tap the ground, and now expand as you kick. And do that again. Unnamed posture number 1, drop, cross hands, sink, tap the ground, and expand. And just bring everything back down and expand again. Expand. Now do it where you get small at the end. So you're here and just keep getting small, 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 small. Notice the quality in your toes and your front hand. Again, from cross hands, small, 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 small. Okay, now do it where you get big. Cross hands, tap the ground, expand. Notice your right fingers, your right toes. So hopefully if you're doing that, it feels really different, and it feels a lot more like you're actually sending your energy someplace when the ends are big. So all of these, the final postures are big. If you didn't experience that, don't just believe me. Spend the time on your own to check this out and play around with the difference. So it's not that I'm, right because I read it in a book. We do, of course, pay a lot of attention to what our teachers have taught us. And, oral instruction. If somebody says, this is the way something is, I'm going to hold that really high, and I'm going to do a lot of exploration to see why that's true. And so you should do exactly the same thing. So we're giving you 2 different things that you can do. You can get small, or you can have it be expansive, outward-going motion. And play around with the difference between those 2 until you find how they really feel different. And I think when you do that, you'll see, oh yeah, right, those need to be expansive. So there's a lot of expansion and contraction going on here. And so I'm going to call your attention to it, and then we'll do it a couple times. So the final posture is big. This is a getting small as I do this. So everything has come up, and now I'm getting small. This is big. So this is a strike out. So as you're doing this, you can pay attention to the pinky side of the right hand. And now things get small as you come to the corner. And then they get big again when you cross hands. So the hand coming up here is like a ward off. And so it's protecting you, it's big. Then they get small as the hands come apart and the foot is freed. And then, importantly, they get big as they come out, as the hand and foot come out. Everything gets small. You step. It gets big again as you go into unnamed posture number 2. Then it gets small as you get to that ball of air place. Then it gets big as you come up to the cross hands. Then it gets small as you free the hands and you free the foot. And then it expands as you kick. So there's that constant bellows going on. And so things that will happen is people will try to just keep going smaller, 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 smaller for the kicks. Or the other place that happens is in the cross hands. People get small there. So I'm in unnamed posture number 2, and I come up, and now I get small. And the problem is I don't have anything to free the foot. So I might know that I'm going to expand there. But if I'm already small, then this is just arbitrary, and I haven't really freed that foot. And so then the first part of my trying to kick is getting it off the ground. Notice how I'm going to do a 1-2, 1-2, because I didn't have the foot free. So when the hands cross, that's expansive, and then it gets small, that frees the hands. There's Jane's, opening the hands like a fan. And then do the starfish. So one from the center goes up your spine to the roof, one from the center goes down your full leg, one from the center goes out to the foot that you're kicking, one from the center goes out to the hand that's on the same side as you're kicking, and one from the center goes to the other hand. So at the end, the hands are extending out, not dropping down. So that's a whole bunch. Let's do it, say 3 more times. We'll just run through it once, then we'll do it a second time where I talk all of this in gory detail, and then we'll do it a third time. So from single whip, squatting down. Good single whip. And go ahead. Shift and turn. Elongate, this is expanding. Sink, spiral, this is contracting. Shift up into the corner, expanding. Gather back to the front, contracting. Into the final posture, expanding. Let the right side come down and shift, contracting. Expand into the final posture. Getting small as the hands and foot come down. Turn, striking with the pinky side of the right hand, expansive. Drop the hands, turn the waist, small. Come back to cross hands, big. Sink, palms separate, small. Expand into the final posture. Everything comes in, small. Step. Expand into unnamed posture number 2. Drop the hands, small. Cross the hands, expansive. Sink, small. Expand into the final posture. I guess I lied. I talked through that one, so let's do this one without me talking, and then I'll talk through the third one. So, single whip. And go ahead, try to notice all this yourself. Just flowing. Okay, one last time, and I'll talk the bellows. And so the thing about the bellows is that just like breathing gives you life, letting the form breathe gives the form life. And so as you work on the bellows, you don't want to be throwing the meat around, right? I'm not trying to go Jack in the Box. No, I'm not trying to do that. So I want to constantly feel the flesh, the meat, the muscles and organs and all the, all the fleshy parts of the body. I want to feel them always sinking and falling towards the ground. But as I do that, there will be a changing relationship to ground. There will be a contracting and gathering in and an expanding out that will go through me. So I don't want the wave to throw me around. I want the wave to go through my body. Now, you may have to start with it making the body move more. And that's okay, but don't stop there. No. After you've got that feeling, then try to get the same feeling without all of the tossing of the body. So not tossing this, but letting it be open so that the wave can come through the body both ways. So I will talk expansion and contraction. I'll talk the bellows this time. And then we'll call it a day. So, single whip. And go ahead. So expanding and letting everything come in towards the center. Expanding, focusing in. Expanding. Everything gets small as the foot comes down and you shift the weight. And then it expands with the foot free. Everything gets small as you Put down the left side and open to the left, and the right fingers come by the left elbow. Big. Small as the ball of air crosses your thigh. Big as you come back to cross hands. Small as you free the foot and you open the hands. Big as you expand like a starfish. Small as everything comes in and you step. Big as you stick out that white snake tongue. Small as the ball of air crosses your thigh. Big as you cross the hands. Sink, smaller, foot is freed. Big starfish expands. Great. Now, I don't know why that move isn't called starfish expands left limb or starfish expands right limb, but it's not. So more on the kicks, and we're doing these Tuesday and Thursday. So if you normally pay attention on Tuesday nights and not Thursday mornings, or if you normally on Wednesday do something with the Tuesday class but you forget about Thursday, come back and check the other ones out too, because all these are fitting together. And we've still got turn and strike with heel, and we will be doing that on Thursday. And in the meantime, throw open the joints of the body so that the weight can drop through to the ground and so that the ground can rebound back through the body.